Hello, it's Darin from innovationtraining.org. Today I would like to get the whiteboard out, the Miro whiteboard, and show you maybe some ways that you can prototype and test some of the activities that you design as a facilitator. Some workshop sessions, how would you prototype that, test that, do it in a small way, get it in front of real users, real students, real participants, we'll say. So there are a number of different ways to do that. We have a Train the Trainer program, and in that program, one of the main goals is to design something we've never facilitated before, a new kind of workshop, a new activity. It could be a day-long workshop, a 2-day-long boot camp. But how do we start to test that out? How do we prototype it? So I will show you some ways to do that. On the Miro whiteboard, I'm just going to bring out an image onto the board of the design thinking process. Here we go. So as we can see, we're trying to do this, as a facilitator, where we're maybe at the stage where we have some ideas for a new kind of a session or a workshop that we want to do. Maybe we've defined that from some empathy we've gained from the people that we would like to help learn, to grow, to do something, to decide something, make something, whatever it might be. Something that fits with us too, as we have an understanding of who we are as a facilitator, how we've defined what we'd like to do. So maybe we're at the stage where we have a prototype. Maybe we have a storyboard of a session, a workshop, an agenda, a sketch of it. And we need to test it out, right, before we properly implement it. We need to start to run some of the activities with the real users, the real people. So I'll minimize this a bit. So here are some of my ideas. I just did a quick sketch where I thought of, where might I prototype and test my new activities, workshops, and sessions as a facilitator and designer? So here's a great little tip with Miro or a lot of these whiteboard tools. If you don't know this already, you can use your shortcut on your computer to copy cells from an Excel document, a Google Sheet, anything like this. And then I'll just do my Command V and paste on my MacBook, and I'll paste it as sticky notes. So here we go. So now I've got some sticky notes where here's my main challenge that I'm working on, is where might I prototype and test my new activities, workshops, and sessions as a facilitator and designer. And here I already have a number of ideas. And maybe I'll just speak through these ideas really quickly. And there are some different things I can do with these. I can change the color. Let's go green with these because these are things that we might do. So there we go. So the first idea here is, hey, you could do it with just groups of friends. So I'm going to go in order of things that are really easy to do. And when you're prototyping, doing something for the first time, why not be quick, be easy, get it going quickly? So that's something that you could do. Just gather a group of friends to try out your activity, hour-long workshop, whatever it might be. So that's something that you can start with quite easily, is a group of friends that you can assemble. So next, where do we have a group? We have friends, we have colleagues. So maybe at your work, in your organization, you can get a group of favorite colleagues together to try out this activity on or this workshop. Or maybe there's another team in your organization that you can go in at their meeting and do a 30-minute long experience with them. So that's an opportunity too. Okay, so another one that we have now is, maybe we go through our organization, but beyond our organization. And this could be with a group of customers or users. It could be a group of people you invite. That tends to work the best when you invite people to something. You might have a higher rate of people choosing to do it. Or it could be you just send it out to your email list and you have a special session. You let them know it's going to be a prototype and we'll try this. Okay, so maybe you go beyond your organization now and you have a friend who has a business, they have a nonprofit, something like that, and you can work with their group if it's small or a team in their group. They're always looking for maybe somebody from the outside to run something with them. Remember, your goal with a prototype here is to test it out. It's not something you're making money on at this point. It's not something that's going to be highly refined and perfect at this point. You're getting a go. So it's free for them, so it's a great deal. So some things I've done too is maybe there's a Facebook group or a social media group that you're a part of. It's on a very specific topic and you just set an event with that group. You just share it to that group that, hey, I'm organizing a short workshop on this topic. Here's the link to register on Zoom or whatever it might be. So that's another place you could try to prototype. Or, hey, how about we do something in person? Maybe there is something in your local area, like one of these networking groups or a group around a specific topic that you can do a session with. They're always looking for speakers for their weekly or monthly meetings. And this is a great opportunity. Maybe you're a part of one of these or two of these and you just volunteer, or maybe you find them when you do a Google search. Okay, so how about this? I've done a lot of things for classes. You know, it could be a college class, a graduate class. Maybe you know a teacher. Maybe you volunteer and you lead your session as a part of this class on the topic that's relevant. Or maybe you're an alumni of an institution, a university, even a high school or some other group, and they have an alumni group. I've done things this way before too, and you volunteer to do your session with them. Or maybe there's an association you're part of. They have their meetings. They also have conferences typically. So could you volunteer to lead a session at one of these conferences or meetings? Again, these are all free things. They're looking for speakers. So your thing doesn't have to be highly refined or perfect, but I'm sure it'll be pretty good, right? If you're rising up to the level of I'm going to lead this for a group that I'm a part of. So that's a nice thing about getting started early, saying yes to something, volunteering for something, is you create a better, we'll say, program or workshop or session because it's for a real group at a higher level like this. Could be a service initiative you start. I've done that before too. Here's a topic I'm passionate about. I'm going to create a service initiative around it, email people about it, invite them to the kickoff, which could be a workshop or a session. Sometimes I've had just random people that I don't know email me looking for help with something. And in one case recently, it was a global nonprofit that I really liked in Bolivia. So I volunteered to do a virtual event for them. So maybe this is an avenue you go down. Or another area is sometimes there are these facilitator groups. There's one focus on facilitation where I live in Madison, Wisconsin. And facilitators are part of this group and they can try out activities with each other. Maybe you do something like this. Or maybe there's a specific conference and the design of the conference is pretty open-ended. There are things like bar camp or a philosophy called open space where anybody can volunteer at the conference to lead a short session. Sometimes people move with their feet to the session they want to choose, but this could be an avenue for you to do something here too. It's already a place where there's people. And finally, it could just be a random person who finds you online and reaches out for your help with their group. I've had this happen a number of times, even with a group from Harvard Medical School, where they were looking for help with design thinking. And it was a very worthy cause, a very important thing they're working on, so I volunteered to do it and got to create and do a thing I've been trying to prototype and test and wanted to try out. So that was a good opportunity to do that. So again, these are just a number of ideas. It looks like I've got about 14 ideas for different places, we'll say, that you can prototype and test a new activity you're designing as a facilitator or a workshop designer, a new session you might do. Remember, anything is great to get into action. It doesn't need to be a full day thing if that's what you're designing. How about an hour? Can you do 30 minutes? Maybe even one 10-minute long activity. That could make a big difference. So the other thing that I like is, when I look back at the things I've done as a volunteer, I call this my test kitchen, a place where I can test out things. I see, maybe these networking groups or college or graduate class, sometimes when I'll do these, what I love is the professor or a leader of the group will post on social media about what we did or maybe how well it went. And then I have that as a great little artifact of what we did, some validation, and also some learning about, what mattered to people. So here's something from Edgewood College. I see Nick shared this, so I've got that there. Going up here, okay, here's Corey from Northwestern and a graduate program, and he shared something about the session that I did with them. So that was kind of neat. And then, just showing something here that I'm prototyping and testing. Maybe there's a taker on that. I love a Frank Lloyd Wright style virtual program I was coming up with an idea for. So I just shared that. So sometimes that happens is you share an idea to social media of a topic, an interest, a workshop you're designing. Maybe somebody reaches out to you about it. And let's see, one more. Here's another event with Adobe. That was not a prototype and test event. That was a proper certificate program I was leading. But here's another one, Women in Technology, Wisconsin. Another one I volunteered to do. And you can see a little bit about that. So when I see what actually I did, what worked, it gives me some ideas for what might work again in the future. I see a lot of themes of universities and things like that, or the networking group around leadership, things like that. So just a quick 10-minute module on some different places you might think about to start to get your sessions out there at, to learn how to do them better by practicing, by providing something real for people that could really use it too, doing it for free, gaining the knowledge, the learning, and maybe something else will happen from that as well. But I'm a big believer in this, is if you're designing new sessions, the way to get better, to create a more innovative offering is to do it quickly, do it in a small way, prototype and test it, and that is the way of design thinking too.